let's start with Charlotte.
Fun. Very fun.
It's very funny. So if you don't know what Charlotte is, it's about kids in their adolescence, and some of them have powers, and they're very flawed. So what kind of, I guess the premise is, like, they don't include in the synopsis, is that this group of students, like from a student council of this one school, go around finding these kids who have powers and who are kind of abusing them, and they try to wrangle them in this one school so that way they can all just kind of monitor them and make sure everything's safe. Like, we start off with the protagonist. Of course, we're going to say right now, we are going into these episodes a little bit more deeper. We're not going to just skid around like what happens. So if you haven't seen them yet and you're like, oh, don't spoil it.
I mean, spoiler.
We're gonna talk about it. I mean, it's the first episode, guys. It's not that super spoilery, but you know, if you are sensitive to that, just warning now for this entire episode. Yeah. So this kid, our protagonist, is a jerk.
I know, they did that so well too. When I was watching it for about the first 15 to 20 minutes of it, I kept thinking, you're a jerk. You're an arrogant little brat.
But it plays well. Like, it's enjoyable to watch him be dumb. So his power is he can control people for 5 seconds. But while he does that, his body goes limp, and he, like I said, only have 5 seconds. So whatever he does, he has to do it quick.
Yeah, it's a very brief possession that he can do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he goes on saying that I didn't really find a lot of use for this. It's like, what do you have in 5 seconds?
I did like that one of the first things he's tried was to, look at boobs.
It's like, it's like
other girls' skirts.
Yeah, he possessed another girl and tried to look up some other girl's skirt, or he would he'd pick fights with other people. He's like, oh, if this guy pissed me off, I just pick a fight with, I'd be like possess his friend and just like start punching him, because obviously
he cheats on tests, which is very clever.
Which is his main thing. Is he's like, okay, I found like the final useful thing that I could do with this, like, can take me further. He's like kind of cool already. He's got good looks. People already like him. He's like, what if I was also smart? And so he just cheats on all of this. Yeah, he just cheats on all of his chess. It's like, wow, dude, way to be.
It's clever.
A jerk. Yeah,
it is very
smart.
clever, because for 5 seconds he can look at someone's test answers,
right, and
then go around the entire room,
yeah.
And just figure it out from that.
I like also that he's very selective about who he cheats off of, because he's obviously pays attention to the class and see who's smart and see who does well on their tests, and then cheats off of those people instead of just picking randomly. Like, even though he's cheating and kind of dumb, like, he's being smart about it.
He's very cunning, right? Because he even goes to the extent of stalking kids in different cram schools, so he can get into the high school that he wants to by passing their entrance
he wears
exam.
The glasses, like the fake nose, like
I
that's
know.
really gonna be incognito.
It reminded me of Persona. I was just like, Persona 4, but I don't know. But yeah, it was really silly. I appreciated that he took such great lengths to figure out who was smart.
And I like the setup with the girl, because you think he's gonna get her too, where he does this really dangerous stunt where he like possesses a truck driver, tries to deliberately swerve the truck towards her so that he can jump back into his body and push her out of the way, and it works. But man, the truck driver's just banged up from it.
I know. I felt
the
bad for the truck driver.
Yeah, it's just like this guy is going to crazy lengths to
manipulate
entirely like the world around him, and like it's kind of cool to see, like, even though he has like an imperfect power, he still uses it to like make everything the way he wants it to.
Yeah, and it's a great setup for the second part of the
right, because he's one of those kids essentially.
Yeah, and
that
so
they're trying to wrangle, and maybe not to like the same extent that we'll probably end up seeing during the course of the series, but
yeah. So then he finally gets caught cheating. Like, someone's like, hey, you've been cheating. It's like, oh, well, this girl's been watching you this entire time and filming every time you possess somebody. And so she's fine, like, figures out the facts. She's like, hey, you're one of us, kind of thing, so you need to transfer schools right now.
Yeah.
And they don't give him an option. It's like,
yeah, she basically beats him up because she can go invisible and starts kicking his butt, which had me laughing hysterically, because it totally caught him off guard.
But what I liked was that hers is not perfect either.
No.
So she can only basically block sight from one person. Everyone else can still see what she's doing.
Yeah. And then also the other kid on student council who can just teleport, but
he can't stop.
Can't really figure out exactly where he's going, so he just runs into stuff all the time. I was like, why is he being so destructive? Like, what's happening?
That was a hilarious scene where the protagonist is like running because he got caught cheating. They like basically confronted him. They're like, look at this footage, and he takes off, and all of a sudden there's just like random like stalls like blowing up behind him.
Yeah, it was really funny.
He's like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna keep running.
I think they, like, obviously this is super intense like comedy. I think we'll also get some drama later on the line, of course, with him. But I just have to bring up one thing that I really hated.
I know what it is because I hated it too.
The protagonist's little sister.
I didn't.
I hated her
I
so
didn't.
much.
I don't know why.
Every time she popped up, I was like, please go away. Stop talking. Stop talking. Because the protagonist's little sister refers to herself in third person all the time.
And she's a super high-pitched,
High-pitched,
ultra,
little
stereotypical,
girl,
cute kind of voice.
Cute little sister. And it's just like, no, stop. Stop. You can be cute. That's fine. But don't stop referring to yourself in third person.
Ew.
Yeah, it's...
Well, she sounds like she's 5. That's the thing, right?
Yeah, I
How
mean,
old is
she's
she supposed to be?
She's like a middle school student.
Oh.
Yeah.
So,
probably,
but she, the way
I guess
she
on
talks,
the younger end of middle
So like
school.
Loli then.
Yeah, so the way she
Like a little?
Well, no, I don't think it really has that vibe to
Oh,
it.
okay.
Like
I
it's
just
very,
like younger sisters.
It's just
They're trying
very
to
much.
calm
Okay.
down.
Well,
She's just
that's
a younger
better
sister.
than I
much
thought.
like
Yeah.
4 or 5-year-old kid talking. You know, like that's like what I would expect of her from that style of speech. But no, they talk about how when she transfers as well because they force her to do it as well,
Probably
she's going to the
smarter.
middle school.
Yeah.
While her brother's in the high
Which
school.
makes her
Okay.
more annoying because
So
she's
she's, like, at least
silly
12.
and dumb.
That's irritating.
Yeah, it's just like, please stop.
But I don't mind it
stop.
yet.
No.
It's weird. I don't know. Maybe
Okay,
it's
so
because you guys actually said it and I was anticipating it. And I was like, oh, I think for me, I was like, oh, she has this tragic family life. This is how she deals with it.
Yeah, she's-
Am I a bad person secretly hoping that she'll like turn evil later on? Like she'll get her own power.
Whoa,
and
that's
go,
dark.
Like, I know,
That
right?
sounds awesome.
it sounds
You've been
awesome.
watching too much of the Black Lady story arc.
Yeah, that
Oh,
sounds
dear.
impossible. She's too sugary
know.
sweet, I think. I don't know.
And like sickly.
I'm interested to see.
Yeah, it's just like sickly sweet, and that just
Super.
grinds on my nerves. But
Right.
at least somebody likes her. So that's,
I don't know. I haven't watched it yet, but now I want to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I don't
it's
know
really-
if I'll
it's
like
really
her
good.
forever, but right now I think I'm still in that family trauma. I get it.
Understand you.
yeah. So, yeah, if you haven't watched it, I'd recommend it. Like,
Yep.
it's more of like slice of
Thumbs
life
up.
with supernatural, with comedy, and it's
Yeah,
a good mix.
It's a very strong, I feel like, a very solid first episode.
yeah.
Yeah, the description didn't capture me,
That's most of the shows. Like, there's this
but
one.
now I really want to watch it. So
No,
Sounds
definitely
good.
worth it. Definitely start with the first episode. We'll see how it goes for the
Yeah.
next
Yeah.
few.